Leo's Legion, your three down bros here with Roland, Arthur, and yours truly, Greg. After a Leo's much needed victory, 32-15 over the Calgary Stampeders. I know the three of us were happy that the Lions came away with a win, but personally, I was walking out of there kind of, did we win? I mean, we put up 32 points, but not 1 point was offensive. In fact, to me, the offensive game playing was offensive. That's my high level thought for the game. Arthur, what do you think?
I'm gonna go a different angle this time. I'm gonna say that the fans were just waiting for something to happen. You know, it's been tough at home in BC Place this year. There's been a lot of indifferent play, and then going into the fourth quarter, up by one, Calgary driving the field, or like, uh-oh. And it was not looking good, right? I think it was like 9 minutes left, and then all those defensive plays, Betts, just got that pick six. But the fans, the fans were in it. Like every time, the line, I guess the announcers saying that's kind of give the team some energy. I think the fans were there, and the fans were rewarded. It was a great atmosphere in the fourth quarter.
That it was.
And I think the little home cooking, the fans was just almost willing the team a bit. Over to you, Roland.
Yeah, for sure. But before I give my thoughts, welcome those who are joining us online. Glad that you can join us tonight. As usual, please feel free to use the chat to give us your comments. If we say something that you disagree with or that you agree with, let us know. If you want to add stuff to the conversation, let us know as well. We'd love to be able to chat with you. That's what this show is for, is to engage with you guys. My thoughts. It was a win, right? A win's a win. It was not the most beautiful of wins. Our offense was stuck to field goals, but man, our defense did rise up. And the whole season, we've been harping on the defense, just not being there, but they were, especially after halftime. And we heard in some of the post game interviews that Campbell, basically told him you got to grab the bull by the horns. Those weren't his words, but basically, it's a close game. You got to win it, right? And the offense didn't adjust, but the defense did, and they came out with a lot more heart than the first half. And we saw that, like what Arthur said, right? Betts making a play. I say that's the turning point of the game, because after that, the whole defense was fired up. Next drive, TJ Lee knocks the ball down. It was a lateral, but quick thinking. He didn't stop. He picked up the ball and ran in for a touchdown, right? And forced the command center to if you're gonna overturn this, you gotta have a clear evidence, right? So we saw that, and then there was another pick later on, right? With
the next series, yeah.
Adrian Green.
Yeah, and he ran it back. He ran it back into field goal range.
Yeah, that's right. So those were my high level thoughts. Just the defense rose up. The offense knew that they did not. They let the team down, and Rourke said so himself. Right, the defense came through. The offense didn't. So hopefully that'll change. Hopefully, it started with Betts firing up the defense. Now the defense hopefully will fire up the offense. Got only 2 games left. So those are my thoughts. All right. So what I thought we'll do is let's go through the highlights. It's 10 minutes. I'll just let it run. The volume will be low, and then we'll just be talking over it. And if we need to stop it, we'll stop it if we want to comment on certain stuff. But we'll do that. So again, if you're joining us online, feel free to use the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your thoughts on the game, and we'll banter with you that way. All right, let's take a look at the highlights.
It is a beautiful night here at BC Place. The rain has given way, but the roof is closed.
Let me see if I could
These two teams will be wide open.
Fast forward it a bit. All right, here we go.
Second and long, 2nd and 12 Just three-man pressure for Calgary. Rourke
Three-man pressure with a one spy.
Yeah.
Typical Calgary defense
Yeah.
against BC.
And our O-line is still a huge weakness, right?
Yeah.
We did start promising though with those runs with Standback right off the hop. It looked good. Like it looked like we had figured something out that was working, and all of a sudden,
Yeah. I sure wish that we stayed with the run all 4 quarters, not just at the beginning of the game.
I mean, Sandbag only had 15 rushes. So.
this one here, I
it's
think
got the crowd into it. This play,
I know, but you know what? Betts ran faster than this guy, and Betts is a defensive end, and
the middle linebacker, I think. But
I mean, I love
killing us.
I love the pick, but it could have ran faster.
Well, I mean, the guy who's chasing him down was a receiver versus Jake Mayer for Betts. Okay, so to be fair.
Okay, all right.
One guy was faster than the other.
Okay.
But Betts did look like he was moving a lot quicker, though.
Yeah.
It was nice to see the defense come away. I mean, we've been asking all night and pretty much all season at the home games, like for the defense to do something big, and that was great. See that ball pop up? The crowd was into it.
Yeah.
Hold there, but no call.
Yeah.
Hold on an offensive lineman on a BC rusher. Right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So they score a TD first.
I think we got a field goal here.
Yeah. So this was nice that he pulled the ball down and ran.
I think he ran a couple plays in a row.
Yeah.
Keon Hatcher got into the game more. It's good. Good to see.
Yeah, good to see that, right? But he's still not 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, we still took a lot of sacks too. I mean, he did run, but we still took a lot of sacks.
I'd like to know what kind of celebration that is. Show off the love handle.
Yeah, exactly. We could do that too, right?
No, let me. Come on, we got to keep our viewers, man. Quarterback sack. Show off your love handle. I don't get it. Anyway.
This is nice.
I think this is the only sack they had all game.
I think Gary Peters got another one later, right?
No, Gary,
Oh,
yeah, because
yeah.
remember we saw Gary put him down kind of nice, veteran to veteran.
Yeah.
Terry Williams lets it go into the end zone. Takes a knee, gives up the point in exchange for the field position. Standback staying in. Calgary showing blitz. Rourke looks to pull it down, gets it out to.
Oh, this is nice.
This time he catches it for the first down.
Talk about being the last read.
This time the fake to Standback.
I don't think you could have held the ball anymore to be last second on that play.
Yeah.
Playing halfback is not something you see a lot of Canadians given the opportunity, but he's taken a
So apparently everyone was high-fiving Pearson after that catch.
just makes it from 47 yards. And the
Another good field goal.
take the lead.
What would we have done without Sean White last night, that night?
Grace on to punt.
So apparently they lifted the scoreboard another 4 feet to avoid any more balls hitting it.
And Major was probably disappointed.
I know.
Well, you know why they did lower it to begin with, right? Some of the people in the luxury boxes or the top
can't
row
see.
of the lower row can't. They have If it's too high, they can't. You have to duck under.
Yeah. You see here that when Hatcher caught it, he was wide open, but he didn't go top speed. So that's
Well, it's a little bit
That
tentative. Do you
I
guys
think that
so?
is his top speed.
So he's got
Come on, I
linebacker-
mean, okay. Well, the top speed is if you're ever being chased by a bear, right? So, but he was wide open. Don't you think you'd want to run into the end zone? I mean, as top speed.
yeah, but you saw he was kind of just, yeah, I don't know.
He's soldiering down. I mean, he runs heavy. He should run
He
light.
runs like a DN should run. Our DN runs like a receiver should run. And our middle linebacker doesn't know how he should run. There's something wrong there.
This time the fake.
Gregory.
Sir?
Shell with the reception.
Just look around the league. Look across the league.
Over the middle, it is intercepted.
There we go.
This is
There's
nice,
Roland's
yeah.
highlighted that. See, I mean,
Yeah.
you look at
Yeah,
the
look at
stride
that.
speed. He's
Why
moving.
it's Jake Bear? Come on, you
I
can't
know.
compare him to a
No,
receiver.
No, but look at how he's
look at
running.
his stride
The
speed.
arms pumping. Yeah.
The speed in which he's going left right's a lot faster than
So-
Ely and way faster than
But he
Hatcher.
I stopped it here because I think this is the play of the game. He actually came in. He lined up on the right side, defensive end on the right side, and then he cut across. And that's why Mayer didn't expect him to show up there. He's hiding
Yeah.
behind the pile there.
So I
And then
think
he-
Mayer sees Mark and Michelle there.
Yeah. And then it just shows up here.
look how far away Ely is.
Yep.
He's like,
Yeah.
so
Well, that's 80. So say 81 makes that catch. There's at least a first down, and he could probably run around Ely where Ely was sitting. That was much needed.
So in interviews, Bet says he kind of got lazy on that play because he's supposed to go up his side, but it looks like he was being double teamed. So you go, oh well, I'll just swing into the middle.
Okay.
So it was not like people were asking, why were you there? And then he goes, well, I wasn't supposed to be. He just ad-libbed because he was kind of lazy because I think he had a late
He's honest.
start on the push, so he just circled back. That's what happened.
Okay. So, yeah, this was on the next drive.
Gain of 11, first down at the 46-yard line. TJ Lee coming
Okay, I'm going to throw this question out there while this is happening. Does anybody in this room between the three of us feel for Jake Mayer at all? Anybody?
Not anymore. I used
Me
to
neither.
feel. I used to feel bad for him, but yeah.
No, I mean, opposing quarterback of a rival team. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but yeah, I mean, maybe he's a Lion, a backup to the Lions next year. Who knows?
Yeah. You see here, you can't see that it's going forward. So it's
Well,
it's
that angle's
inconclusive.
a little distorted, right? It's
Yeah.
gonna make it look like it's going forward.
Which is, I think, why a lot of the Stamps just kind of gave up. They figured incomplete pass, and that's just
Yeah.
kudos, like you said, Roland, for TJ still being alert enough to just pick it up and run the play
Yeah,
out
heads
just
up.
in case.
Yeah, the whistle didn't blow, so.
pass. BC coming with just 3.
And then this one, yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Cannot hang on.
How many times we were talking about this after the game? How many times have we been so close to those kind of picks and it just falls short? We're not quite there. And this one finally got one.
Yeah.
Heck of an effort to get his hands under it. That's a catch.
Yeah. So this is the.
That's not Jake Mayer's fault.
We'll take
It's not. But our defense is fired up. All from that one Betts interception. Pick six.
White's
Kick another field goal.
good.
What do you have? 7 on the night?
6, I think.
6?
Schultz with the fake, rolls to his right. He's going to keep it. Cuts back.
Yeah, they pull Mayer. Schultz comes in.
Play of the year.
Nice cutting back.
Out
That's
there is a
nice.
gain of 7. Schultz drops back the pass.
Oh, boy.
Steps
Here we
up in
go.
the pocket, looking deep for Bingleton.
And he was wide open.
Yeah.
Will score.
I
Yeah.
think they're saying that was on Ragumba more than
I think so. Yeah.
Bulliu.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see Ragumba's in the
Ragumba's
cover
right
two.
there. Yeah.
He's in cover 2.
Yeah. He's.
I don't know why he stepped up.
Yeah.
Because there's no need for Ragumba to step up. There's the only people he's stepping him to is his other guys in that intermediate zone.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought Mayer was gonna go to him in that dig route location, but then Bingleton just turned it up. Yeah, that's not a good.
Yeah. This was a good play by Williams, though.
The little guy, Terry Williams.
Because rather than letting it bounce, he caught it in the air. No chance for Calgary.
3-score lead, and he does. The BC Lions win 32-15, and
All right.
punch
So a much needed win. So tonight, let's talk about. Let's first start off with what went well. What went well, and then we'll talk about what could be better. So start with what went well. I guess let's go with you first, Greg.
Well, as I said, the game started well, as most of the home games have that we've seen this season. Again, we were very happy to see Stanback rip off those runs. He looked aggressive. He looked decisive. He looked, like he was running hard. But then, um, I don't know why they got away from it, but the defense made big plays when they had to, as we've seen in the highlight package there. And that's, I don't know, maybe I'm hard to please. And my game ball. I mean, I was quite happy with the special teams cover team all night. The punt coverage, the kickoff coverage, that was really, that to me went about as well as it could go. But I can't think of anything during our offensive series that went well, other than those first couple runs, and it was just kind of spotty. I was holding my breath all night. I think I said to you guys, I had a bad feeling about it, but special teams coverage to me was great, and the big play defense when we needed it. That's what went well to me.
Okay.
Arthur.
All right. Awesome.
Well,
Before Arthur goes, if you're online, I guess you just want to invite you again. Let us know your thoughts. Anything we say you agree or disagree with, or if you want to just let us know what you thought went well or what didn't go well later, just let us know in the chat. Go ahead, Arthur. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean the defense played well. I mean all game. I mean they gave that one touchdown in the first quarter. It was kind of like we were like, oh. Initially, it was like a lot of Tommy Stevens third down in inches. They had I think of the third 3 or 4 or 5 first downs, 3 of them had a third down in inches.
Yeah.
So it's like. Like it's first down they get 3 or 4, they get 5 the second down, and they're down by short 1 yard, and then Tommy Stevens, right?
Yeah.
So it was, and then that drive, after that drive, we're like, oh, that was a bit too easy, bit, right? But then after that, they shut the door. They didn't give up, they didn't really give up any. I mean, they gave up it was a single for special teams they gave up, right?
Yeah.
They didn't give up anything until really it was garbage time. And then you saw Schultz hit Bigleton deep, right? And that was already there. It was already what 29 to
games out of
8.
reach. Yeah.
Yeah. So hats off. Apart from that one drive, and every team gives up a drive like that. They really buckled down. And mind you, is it more Calgary?
That's my feeling, because at first Mayer wasn't throwing deep. And then he started throwing deep. Remember, we were talking. Why is he throwing deep?
I was like, I'm always like, I just don't understand the Calgary play calling. It puzzles me just like the BC Lions play calling. They had that one drive. Okay, the first drive of the game, it was going well, and then it was like that fumble, and Ely ran it back all the way, right? Ran it back down to the 40-yard line, right?
Yeah.
And then BC kicked a field goal, right? So that drive, it was just dink and dunk, moving up the field very slowly.
Yeah.
And then the second drive, they went all the way and scored a touchdown.
Yeah. But it was working. It was working. They were burning up the clock. They beat us on time of possession, and it was working.
And it was high percentage throws, something great for Mayer.
Yeah.
But then they started going deep, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? Because then the lines are setting up their zone deep, and they're giving you the underneath stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not, somehow, for whatever reason, their tackling is subpar. And it's been subpar for a number of weeks. I think there's a couple of weeks they did better, but it's kind of reverted back to being a bit subpar.
Yeah.
And you can just get high percentage 5-6 yards plays. Why I mean, I know maybe lines maybe adjusted, but like maybe Dave D can't help himself.
I'll tell you what I think. This is my theory. I don't think it was. My theory is that it wasn't the play calling, but it was Meyer wanting to show that he's not one-dimensional, wanting to prove that he's not one-dimensional. That's my guess, okay? Because he's known for not being able to throw deep, right? We've seen that the last couple of years, and I think he wants to break out of that, right? Because I think he knows time is ticking for him. They've given him a lot of time already as Bo Levi's a successor, and if he can't get there, then this is it, right? So that's my feeling, is that he saw something. He says, I'm going to take this because I got to show him that I can do this, right? So I think that's why he went deep. But it was a bad throw. I mean, the receiver was actually open, so it was a good read, but it was a bad throw. So if it was a better quarterback, they would have burned us.
Yeah, so just to finish my point, well, of course the defense played well pretty much the whole game. So hats off to them. I think they have 4 turnovers.
Yep.
Massive. They came to play.
Yeah.
And kind of like what they played a good half against Hamilton. They didn't get. It wasn't definitely not complimentary football the second half against Hamilton. The offense was atrophied, and then the defense, the last 3 or 4 drives pretty much gave points, and I think the last 3 drives gave up touchdowns.
Yeah.
So this is a good bounce back effort for them, and they're gonna need it. Hey, they can play lights out, but they need to score. But they definitely need to play lights out defense.
Yeah.
Roland, what do you think? What went well?
Yeah, I mean, you guys touched on it already. I don't think I can add much. Defense did well. They won the game for us. Other than that, I can't really think of too much more to add.
Keon Hatcher?
Yeah, Hatcher coming back is nice. Nice to see him come back. He's still not there. Not the Keon that we know, right?
97 yards receiving.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It is. But we saw he was slow, right? So I guess it's good that he's getting open, he's catching the balls a lot better than the previous games where even if he gets the ball thrown his way, he doesn't catch it, right? So yeah, that's good.
And Sean White, 6 for 6.
Yeah, I guess we should. We sometimes we take him for granted, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if it weren't for all those field goals, then we might have lost the game, right? So. All right, so those were the good stuff. Now let's talk about what could be better. So just quickly for the people in the on the live stream, let us know if you have thoughts as well. You want to add or add to what we're saying, or you disagree with stuff that we're saying. So what could have gone better? Let's go back to Greg.
Red zone efficiency. Actually, no, I won't even say efficiency. How about just red zone success? I would have taken 1 out of 5, 2 out of 5, whatever it was. It raises serious concerns for me because who knows what the playoff route's going to be, but let's just go worst case scenario. We're going through Winnipeg yet again, and I really don't think the way Winnipeg's playing now is going to change. The way they play at home for the playoffs might crank it up. Field goals aren't going to get it done. We've got to score majors, and we've got to even, I don't know, like you said, Ron, we got to look like we're trying to score a major. It's like we didn't even take shots at the end zone. It's like we bogged down, we look confused. Okay, field goal. And that's frustrating from a fan point of view. But when we start to analyze it and look at it from a an X and O point of view, that's downright concerning. So it's just red zone success. I mean, that's been bad for a good 3 or 4 weeks now, minimum.
Yeah.
What do you think, Arthur?
Well, Nate hasn't had a passing touchdown in a while. I think it's 3 games.
Yeah.
I mean, he's run some in, or Sandback's run some in, but they need a pass. They need a passing touchdown. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
In the CFL, this is a massive end zone.
Yeah.
And I think they only took really 1 or 2 shots in the end zone of all their passes when they're in the red zone. They were going for the shorter passes, and then they weren't working, and then that's it, right? So, what didn't work for me is the play calling again on the offensive side. They needed more variety. It seems like everything was pretty static. The formations weren't crazy, making you wonder. A lot of misdirection. It's pretty, I wouldn't say it's vanilla. I mean, they did move. I saw like receivers would go from the right to the left, right? And then when on Hatcher's big play, I noticed, because I was just going to roll and I said, I'm going to watch the receivers. And I just saw McKinnon just burn. Like the waggle was a map. Like he stood up, he came back, he went back a long ways and hit the line of scrimmage with like in full gallop. So what happens, he went deep and went post and he took 3 guys with him, and that's how Hatcher was wide open
Yeah.
on a dig route in the middle, intermediate route, and then of course then Hatcher was able to run. So they need to do more of that.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for whatever reason, there's a lack of imagination.
Yeah.
Getting on the outside, if the inside zone runs are not working, if Calgary is plugging up the gaps, A gap, B gap off tackle, then you got to pitch it out, or you do a screen. But we're going to talk about maybe some of the receivers and the screen stuff a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I was going to say is offensive imagination. I think we need a bit more imagination.
Yeah. Yeah,
Did you
completely.
say Hatcher ran? I'm sorry. I was just trying to hear that right.
I mean, he did run.
He runs faster than me and you, Greg.
True.
I don't know.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah. No, I'm sure he
Put
does.
a cheeseburger out there.
does.
Let me go 40
He
yards
does.
for a cheeseburger. I think I can outrun Hatch.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
But then,
man.
Arthur,
Come
we
on.
should not be the standard.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So do as we say, not as we do.
That's right.
But I agree with you completely. The play calling. Going back to what Greg said, there was one play, one drive where we were, I think, we were first and goal in the 6 or 7 yard line, and we did 2 short plays. Was it this? And I wanted them to go into the end zone, right?
Yep.
To just try two plays into the end zone. If not, get kicked a field goal. But they called two short plays, and it didn't. They couldn't get in. So then it was a field goal.
But you know why, Roland? You know why?
Why?
They're only up 14 at the time. So he wanted another field goal, so he would be up 3 scores and the game would be over. Okay. This is Rick Campbell.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah.
2 scores is like they score a touchdown, they get an onside kick, they score a touchdown. So 3 up being 3 scores, you're really happy.
Yeah.
And after 2 straight losses, you may be, but
Yeah.
I get it. I would have won to the end zone.
I know. I get exactly. There's a very logical explanation that makes a lot of sense. But what are the factors, right? Nate is struggling with confidence. Like you said, he hasn't had a passing touchdown. If you're so
In 3
close,
games, I think.
Yeah, you're so close to the end zone. Give him 2 shots to get a passing touchdown. That confidence, we need that confidence to carry us over to the next few games, right? And the second thing is you got to show the team that you've got a killer instinct, right? Look what happened when Matthew Betts showed that to the defense, right? It fired up the whole defense. We got a comment from Has for Life. Let me bring it up here.
Abs for life.
Has for Life. Hi. So Has for Life says, "Oh no, I'm very late to the stream. No worries. What is it with the Pacific Northwest where if you don't absolutely have to win, then you can play half-ass?" Seahawks, Canucks, and Lions. Okay, not sure what's happening with the other 2. Maybe Arthur knows, but yeah, Lions for sure.
It's the air out here, Hab fan. The air and the rain.
The air. But going back to what could have gone better. So yeah, definitely the play calling, that intensity that we've been talking about. The defense got it in the second half. That was what Campbell said during the halftime. But you don't have to wait till halftime. Like you got to start the game with that full intensity. We saw it. We can see. You can see their body language, the way they're running, the way they're lining up. It's like there's no energy.
I think they look tentative, not flat this time. The flat was Toronto, but this time they look tight. Like they just did not know. They didn't look sure of anything.
And
it's concerning.
And Campbell knows it, and that's what he talked about in halftime. But you shouldn't have to wait till halftime to do that. Okay, we've got a comment. Wayne Pog. Hey, Wayne, I don't know if this is the first time you've joined us, but welcome. It's the first time we've seen your comment, so thanks for joining our call. He says, our quarterback is too stationary. Need to
Uh-huh.
roll him out more, mix up his drops. Yeah, I agree absolutely. Nathan did run a few runs, and there was one where he kind of, I was amazed at how he was able to shed that tackler. But yeah, we took too many sacks because I kept telling the guys that his internal clock, wasn't telling him that it's time to either run or get rid of the ball. What do you guys think?
We talked about it at the beginning on our way into the dome. That they got to move the pockets some more because Calgary, like Arthur said earlier, it's that typical, 3-man pressure. And like Wayne says, if our quarterback's stationary, 3-man, with the offensive line the way it's been playing, 3 men get there quickly. We saw with Mayer, he's the same distance and drop in shotgun. As soon as he got that snap, that ball's out.
Yeah.
Nate gets the ball. He drops back another 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. And again, he's dropping straight back and stationary, and that pressure's still getting to him. So I think, I don't know, like if it's a confidence thing, like you said, Roland, if he just doesn't seem to want to throw the ball. He's just like, I don't know if he's double, triple, quadruple clutching in his mind. No shot to the end zone. It's like he doesn't want to or doesn't think he can anymore. Even if he rolls out and takes off on a run, at least he looked confident on his runs when he made the quick decision. But I think Wayne's right on.
And let me paint a scenario for you guys, which is very realistic. Okay,
Yeah.
You're Nathan Rourke. You're stepping back to pass. You don't know which offensive line is going to blow an assignment. You're not sure where you're gonna blow it, right? It could be left, right, center, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other team will blitz. You just don't know, right? You're stepping back to pass. You got 5 receivers. Say you got 4 or 5 receivers. They're covering your receivers like a blanket, right? They know your routes. These receivers, I'm reading, they're not running crisp routes. I've been trying to focus more on the receivers because then everyone's always focused on the quarterback, right? Because I want to see while I'm at games, I can see what's going on with the receivers. And I don't see the receivers getting really open. Like, they're going to have to, like, the scheme has to change, or they're going to have to call better audibles at the line of scrimmage. It just seems like the other team knows what the Lions want to run. So if you're the quarterback and you got no one open, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think that's where. So I don't know if this is Nate's call or whether he's been coached to go through your progressions first before you pull the ball in and run. But I think what Wayne says makes a lot of sense in that if your internal clock tells you that if I can't get the ball out in 2 counts, I'm going to run, right? If the receivers are all covered and I see it, I'm not going to wait for it to develop. Just take the run. So what is that going to do? I could get a first down, right? If not, I could get halfway or partway to the first down, and the second down, it's second and short. I avoid a sack, right? And what's more is that's going to affect the opponent's defense. If they're pulling back and covering the receivers hard, and they're allowing me to run and get first downs, they're going to have to rejig their defense, and now my receivers will be open. And the other thing is Nate can run. We've seen him. Like the few runs there was that one run, right, where I thought he was going to be sacked, and he's twirled around and spun out and got through. So we've got the advantage of having a quarterback that can run. And second, from a team and coaching perspective, we've got VA as our backup. If Nate gets hurt, VA can come in. It's not like we've got some weak backup quarterback. So we, if we want to win the Grey Cup, we got to go all in. Can't hold back anymore. We got to go all in. That's kind of my feeling.
Well, if we do what Wayne's suggesting, rolling them out, just like you said, Roland, it's going to rejig the defense. Well, how many times has our defense been affected? The quarterback may not necessarily take off a run. The minute he starts to roll out, we can only cover for so long, or the defensive backs think, oh, he's going to run. I got to come up and make the tackle. Somebody's now got a little bit of separation, and Rourke has the arm and the accuracy, or he did, to get that ball there. So at the very least, if he's rolling out or on the move, that will affect the defense right there on the spot to maybe have somebody open up, or like you said, a little further down the next play, influence how they're going to line up because, oh, he could take off. So again, I just at the very minimum, at least, like Wayne said, and like we would say, he's just got to move around. 3-man pressure, yeah. Eventually, he's in shotgun, so we can see that 3-man pressure getting through. Okay, it's getting through. There's his internal clock that needs to work. Okay, there's a spy. No one's coming late. At least if he starts rolling out somewhere, you'll find out if that late guy's coming or if there's a spy. Then you've got another set of decisions you can make. But sitting there waiting for the pressure to get to you is not doing us any good.
Okay.
I didn't see it that way. Number one, when you roll out, you're pretty much going to the half the field. You're not supposed to throw against the grain, so you're pretty much limited to half a field. If they're rushing 3, they have a spy. That's 4. They have 8 in coverage in a zone coverage. Okay, so if he is going to scramble, it gets around the spy. Guess what? He's running into a short zone. And they're looking right at him because they're in a zone defense, right? Unless they're playing press and man, and they got 2 or 3 safeties. But if they're playing a zone against the Lions, you might as well. And you know the routes. They're sitting on those digs. They're sitting on the dig routes, kind of out route. They're sitting on them. So you got 8 in coverage. You got 5 receivers going out there.
Yeah, so that's
like
why
I don't like the math. So if you roll out, you are essentially limiting your scope to half the field now. So you might have 2 receivers or 3 receivers in that half of the field.
Yeah, and if you can't get rid of the balls, then run, right? If you can't find an open receiver, run.
Then throw it away. Don't take the sack.
He's throwing some away. He threw a couple away. He got a couple of sacks, right? He did throw some away, right? We did see.
Yeah.
And then he didn't run. Like he ran like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And he did do at least 2 throwaways, and he had a couple of sacks. Yeah. But a lot of the times, they're right on top of him. I'm like, wow, okay. I mean, I think this criticism is more for Vernon Adams. To be honest, Vernon goes for the deep ball more. I think Nate goes for the intermediate ball more.
Well, which we did say the difference between the two of them. Nate seems to be able to dissect a zone defense a little bit better than Vernon.
Yeah, I think Vernon is better at throwing deep, and he likes to throw deep to stretch the field, right? But and another thing I want to say is this rolling out, that's all good, but it really does limit your field. And I just don't know, like, he doesn't have a lot of experience with these receivers. Like, when you do scramble drills, whoever's deep comes through the quarterback. Yep. Whoever's short goes deep.
Yep.
Right? And he needs to know, okay, Barry Hill in a scramble drill, what do you usually do? What will you do? He doesn't know these receivers as well. In a scramble drill, he just needs more reps with them.
Yeah.
You don't have enough time to have more reps with the receivers.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, you know, like, there's... Yeah. I think going through a training camp, these are things that are going to be better for next year. But this year, this is what it is.
I'm going to move on to...
VA's healthy. Maybe you put VA back in now because he has...
let's not start that, Cat.
Okay.
Let's start that.
I'm going to move on to our next topic, which is... so you're talking about receivers. I wasn't blaming Nate.
I want to respond to Habs for Life.
Okay.
They can bring up his comment.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay, all right. Okay.
What's with the Pacific Northwest where you absolutely don't have to win, but you play half-ass? Okay, so the Montreal Canadiens in preseason, and again, no one in the West, no one in Canuckland really cares about preseason because you know what? The playoffs are where it counts. Maybe the Canadiens may want to make the playoffs, you know.
No. Here we go.
I mean, we're half-ass in preseason, mind you, and then I think the Habs only had 2 wins in preseason and 3-4 losses. So I don't know what playing half-ass. Seahawks still 3-2. Yeah, the Lions are. You know, I mean, the Alouettes have them this year, and in the Grey Cup. I'll give you that. But you know what?
All right.
It's just the CFL.
Okay, moving on. Next topic I wanted to address because we're talking. I wasn't blaming Rourke. I think Rourke did play a good game. He played a good game. He didn't throw too many deep balls, but he was taking what the defense was giving them, and he actually just three incompletes, right, on the whole game. 3 incompletes. One was dropped.
I think 4,
Yeah,
24.
one was thrown away. But anyway,
One was dropped. He was
Yeah.
20 for 24. That
Okay,
was a
so
couple of
4.
throws away, and then one was Hatcher. He had the ball, but then I think there was a contact a little early, and then Berryhill dropped.
Yeah, that's right. So I want to talk about the receivers. There was an interview that Farhan gave where he said that he talked to McSimic before the game, and he complained, like what we've been saying, the play calls have been too predictable, no creativity on the play calls. And he asked McSimic, how come we're not doing, a whole bunch more like screens and stuff? And McSimic responded saying that, our receivers can't block. And so the screens get blown up, right?
We saw that.
And we've seen that. We've seen that all
Berryhill
all
had that
season.
2-yard loss. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck?
So let's talk a bit about that. Why aren't the receivers blocking? Is it a matter of personnel? Is it a matter of coaching? Is it a matter of what is it? Because other
Yes.
teams can. Other teams can run screens and they get good yards. Let's go with Greg first.
Yes, and yes. I think it's a matter of. I don't think it's a matter of ability because, like we were talking before we came on online here, receivers are taught to block early on. I think most of these receivers play Pop Warner football, high school football. They're taught to block early on because when you're at age 8, 9, before they started all this flag football stuff, most kids when they hit the football field to start with, it's run. So those receivers are taught early how to block. And, we talked about it going into the game on Friday that, beat the man in front of you. So if there's a guy in front of you and you've got your hands on him, just hang on, stay in between him and wherever. It doesn't mean you don't need to know where the guy, which direction the guy's running. Just stay with your guy and don't let him push you backwards. Win that battle for 3 seconds. I'm sure all of our receivers can push weights in the weight room. The guy in front of you is not much bigger. He's not that much stronger. You know where the play's going because you practiced it all week. Just stay with the guy in front of you. Keep his face and his number right here for 2 or 3 seconds. I think it's a matter of desire and it's heart and intensity. I mean, it's ugly ball time, bully ball time, whatever McAvoy and Campbell built this team on, bully ball. And well, now it's time for the rubber to meet the road. These are the guys you picked. I don't know where McSimic says they're not that kind of receiver because according to your management, that's why they built this team the way it is, so they can play bully ball come the more inclement weather, the playoff time when it's tougher. So it's desire. It's not they don't know how, it's they don't really want to. The try's not there, my opinion. Arthur.
I look at it differently, Greg. There's 2 things. One, their best blocking receivers were not available for this game. You have Katoy and Mackey. They were unavailable for this game. So that hurts. That really does hurt. So you have, you can say all you want, like, not all your receivers have to be like awesome blockers, but your best 2 are out for the game. So it changes your packages, and it's pretty obvious when you're going to do a run or when you're going to do a pass. But I would say as another, I'm looking at another way is I think this offense believes that they don't need to block on a bubble screen because they rather just execute their pass spread offense pass game.
No, but how can you say that? If the play is a screen, you got to block. You can't say, okay, I'm just going to give up on this play and wait for the next one.
The screen is like the no one's expecting us to run the screen. So we'll just try our best because then they're not usually it's like our scheme will overtake their scheme. So they won't expect it because we never run it because we're so bad at blocking. We don't run it. So when we do a screen, it'll catch them off guard. Right. So
Okay.
So the reason why they don't block very well on the screen is because it's not a priority. I mean, come on. It's not a priority for this coaching staff, for these receivers.
And I guess this coaching staff doesn't want to stay employed for past this season because
I'm just-
priority is winning playoff games, and
Yeah.
you got to do whatever you got to do on whatever play is called
Well,
Yeah.
they're
to move
okay.
forward, and they're not.
They believe, and this is their offense is through the intermediate long passing game. They're gonna win that way because they go away from that for a couple of drives, but then they revert back to it. That's their sweet spot. That's where they're confident. That's where they're arrogant,
Yeah.
perhaps. But
Yep.
so the couple of times they do a screen, if they don't have the right personnel or their best blocking receivers are not there, it blows up. But they have to try it, I guess. And they ran one and it blew up and they're like, okay, we're not going back to that again.
Yeah, but
You're saying
That's-
that
that's a
blocking
coaching-
receiver is one guy.
that's a-
toy. You got the other ones out there that still have the form of
that's
bubble.
so. Are you saying? Actually, we have a comment from Todd, which I'll bring it up in a minute. Are you saying that it's the players don't care or the coaches don't believe?
I think
in
the
it?
coaches don't care. I don't think the coaches care about executing on that bubble screen. I don't think it cares. They're like, oh, who cares? Okay, we just try it to see if it throws them off, right? It's like it's kind of like throwing the ball deep, right? Like, okay, we stretch the field. Okay, we did the bubble screen. If we get 5 yards, is great. But just try your best. But if you don't do it, no big deal, because we know you guys can run those intermediate pass patterns and you'll catch the ball.
All right.
So I just,
Okay.
to me, it just seemed that it's not a priority for the coaches, for the players to do it.
All right.
But we've
I mean,
seen
that's
they can't run those intermediate routes.
that's
because they're
interesting.
blanking it.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. If you're right, which possibly you can, then that's bad.
not good coaching.
It's a bad coaching. Yeah. I'm going to bring up a comment here from Todd. Difference between Winnipeg and BC is the Lions have more tourists on the roster.
Boy.
Guys
Todd.
standing around the pile, linebackers celebrating a pick when they should be blocking, etc. Winnipeg O-line pushes the pile. Okay, I agree completely on the difference between Winnipeg and us.
1,000%.
So, okay, thoughts. I guess we'll start with you, Greg. What do you think about this comment from Todd?
Well, you guys have heard me as a broken record for, I don't know how long we've been going to these games together, that it sickens me. Even back to the time when Angus Reid, no offense, Angus, but I got to call you out because it sickens me to see your quarterback flat on his back and there's a bunch of O-linemen standing around looking confused. And I don't need to see your facial expression inside those helmets, but when you're looking around and your quarterback's laying there, and then most of the time, none of you guys even pick him up. You go back to the huddle. It's true. And you look like tourists. You're standing there. Oh, I whiffed on a block. And it drives me nuts. And, there is no, I'm going to use Roland's word again and again. There's no intensity on any play that requires the run blocking. I mean, how many times do we say stand back got contact in the backfield? Because they're not pushing. They're not pushing anything,
Yeah.
and they look like tourists. And yes, I know the pick he's talking about. When Adrian Green made that pick, there's a linebacker standing with his arms there, just standing still while Adrian gets up and takes off with it. I know exactly that play. And again, Arthur might call that inexperience, but hey, you've been playing the game for a long time to get to this pro level. Don't just stand there. The guy made a pick. There was no whistle. Get your ass in gear and run down the field with him like Varga did.
Yeah. But
I'm
the thing
done.
is, if it happens once and then it doesn't happen again, like someone just celebrating prematurely, that's fine. But if it keeps happening, then that tells me that no one is calling that guy out. Like when we're coaching high schoolers and they do that, what did the coach say when he comes out in the field, right? He says the whistle hasn't blown. What are you celebrating for? Finish the play, right? Go run ahead of the ball carrier and block for him. So someone needs to call them out, right? And if they're so that's this. Yeah. Anyway, Arthur, your thoughts?
Well, I didn't think that Greg's such a big Michael Shea fan. I And Greg, don't be calling out former BC Lion players. It's okay for me to go off on a Habs fan, but you can't go off on a former BC Lions player. Come
Call it
on.
like I see it, man.
Oh
Maybe
man, I don't
just
know. I don't
so
know.
frustrating. So frustrating.
Well, it obviously is the case, right? Winnipeg has a winning mentality. They've won 2, Grey Cups in the last 4 years. Mind you, 3 and 4 years ago, and they just have that. They have that will, and they have that leadership. I think they have the players' leadership, a better player leadership, and their coaches. O'Shea's a pretty kind of kick-ass kind of guy.
Yes.
Maybe our guys are a little bit more relaxed, soft, reserved. I don't know, right? Maybe a different style, and
But you can see, right, in the way he challenges things, the way he gets upset at different times of the game, you can see that he has a killer instinct. I'm talking about O'Shea, right? And that filters down to the players. When they see their coach has a killer instinct, they have a killer instinct on the field too. I think our coaches, they just look too relaxed. Campbell, he doesn't challenge things. So even if you know that it's a 50-50, but if you challenge it, then it tells the players that you're playing on the edge, right?
One of us. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
But we
Anyway.
can take O'Shea out of there. I mean, you take any other. I mean, it's like Arthur said, it's a 9-team league. Take Winnipeg out of there. Was that Todd? And you can put any other team in there. Put Montreal in there. There's no tourists on that O-line. Put Saskatchewan in there. There's no tourists. Put Edmonton in there. That O-line is not a tourist. It's standing around like ours. So I know you use Winnipeg because, I mean, Winnipeg's been known for their O-lines. Even back in the 80s, in the Chris Walby time, all that, they still always had solid O-lines. But I'll put any other O-line in there against ours for the word tourist. And I'm sorry, we're coming in dead last as far as we're winning the tourist battle. How's that? We'll win the tourist battle because we have not won the trenches in quite some time. Even in the victories that we've had, we have not dominated the offensive trench.
All right. There's a comment here from Wayne. If you are predictable on offense, you're doomed. We have no creativity. Even after a bye week, there is no adjustments. Yeah, Wayne, that's exactly what we've been harping on the last few weeks, right? Too predictable on offense and not adjusting, not even between games, like, in the middle of a game, like, at halftime, not making the adjustments. So that is a big weakness. And I think that goes to coaching. So many games we've been out-coached.
Yeah, we've had 2 bye weeks and we've never.
This is
Oh,
Arthur.
Wayne.
Arthur's gonna like this. Arthur's gonna like this comment by Wayne. Let's trade Buck Pierce for McSimic.
well, I mean, he's currently the offensive coordinator already with Winnipeg, so you have to give him that. He's the head
Arthur's
coach.
actually going a level higher.
Yeah.
We're trading.
That's my prediction.
Trading Campbell for Buck Pierce.
I mean, we'll see who else shakes free from the CFL coaching ranks, but right now, it might be Buck Pierce to be the Lions' next head coach if Campbell cannot pull this together and win a Grey Cup. Then
Well,
he stays.
Yeah,
I was going to say something to Wayne. I was loving Wayne's comments right up until this one. I think Wayne must have bumped his head jumping up and down because we agreed with him so much. But I don't think Winnipeg would go. I mean, yeah, Winnipeg's got to go for that one. I'm all for it, but I don't think Winnipeg's going to take the most predictable, unimaginative, boring, dull, lackadaisical offensive coordinator there is in the league right now. Did I say that out loud?
They might do it. It won't be necessarily a trade.
it's not a one-to-one trade.
Yeah. It'd be Buck Pierce coming here in the off season, and then for a promotion, and then McSimic is looking for a job, and then essentially it's a trade, but not necessarily trading assets.
But Buck's not going to come here as an OC, right?
Yeah,
He's-
he'll have to. He'll
He's got
want to
too
be the
good
head
already
coach.
over there as an
Yeah.
OC.
Yeah, he'll be the head
But
coach.
I like
there.
Wayne's train of thought, though.
Yeah. So we've got, it's 9:24. We've got a game against Saskatchewan next week. It's, second place is on the line. If we win, then we still have to win the last game.
If we win, we're 1 point up on Saskatchewan.
Yeah. So it's
We
not,
have the season series.
but it's not a guaranteed because if we lose Montreal and Saskatchewan wins against Calgary, then they
Yeah.
can still end up second. So we basically have to win next week and the week after. If we lose next week, then it doesn't matter what happens with Montreal. We're going to be third place. So we got to win out the next two games.
Yep. Control our destiny the best we can, right?
Yeah. So thoughts on Saskatchewan? What do we need to do and predictions? And for those online, let us know too your thoughts on what we need to do with Saskatchewan and also your predictions on what the score could be. Let's start with Arthur or Greg. Who wants to go first?
Oh, I'll go first then. All right.
All right.
So my prediction for the last 4 games was 2-2. So now we're 1-1.
Yeah.
And
Actually, before you do that, let's go
okay.
over. Last week, Arthur, you predicted 33-20 for the Lions. Greg predicted 26-17,
I'm closer.
and I predicted 36-12.
I'm totally closer.
You
I'm
went
totally
over.
closer.
You went over.
35-20 versus 32-15. Come on. Or is it
You went
right?
over.
You said
Don't scream about
33.
going over. That's how long
33.
it took to win.
33-20.
33-20, and then it was 32-15.
Yeah, and Todd.
It's closer than you guys.
I'm pretty close too. But okay, Todd online predicted 38-19. Okay,
And what did you predict, Roland?
I predicted 36-12. So, all right. Sorry to cut you off. Okay, Saskatchewan, what do we need to do and predictions?
All right, so I predicted 2-2 for the last 4 games, so we're 1-1. And yeah, so I have to say they're going to lose this game. So, to keep with my prediction. And then they'll win against Montreal. So I think, that's. And then my prediction was BC would be third in the West. And just going into Mosaic with this offense, a beleaguered defense. And I think how I look at it is I think Mace, the guys are playing harder for Mason than the Lions are playing for Rick Campbell right now.
Yeah.
And I think that just looking at the games, I think the Riders are playing better fundamental football.
Yeah.
And they have more weapons. I think the receivers are more healthy. They're more dynamic. Their quarterbacks may not be more dynamic, and I think Harris is underperforming. But he can definitely have a big game, and he has the skill set to rip apart the Lions' bend don't break defense. Greg loves that. So what the Lions need to do? They need to score an offensive touchdown or 4. The defense needs, of course, would love to get 4 turnovers, but I'd settle for 2. If they can be up 2 on the turnover paddle, and their offense gives us something that we haven't seen in the last 3-4 weeks, 3 weeks, the last 3 weeks, then that's what it'll take. But I just don't like their chances on the road. And anytime this team this year, after that 5-1 start, has gotten good, they kind of revert back to a mean of the mean, not them being mean, the mean average of being
Mediocre. Mediocre.
Unfortunately, so
right.
I'm hoping that changes,
Okay.
and I'm still rooting for them to win.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at how it's going.
Okay. Score.
Yeah.
What score?
30-24.
So 24 for
Saskatchewan.
BC.
30-24 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Yeah. Okay. I'll put 24-30. I'll put BC first. Okay. All right. Greg?
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. I hope so too. Greg? But I see your points.
Go ahead,
Greg,
Greg.
your thoughts?
Oh, well, I'm sorry. There was this echoing in my head of something that you guys have probably never heard me say in the time we've been doing this podcast. I agree 100% with Arthur.
Oh, come on. That never happens.
Those words are just echoing because
Never happens.
if I'm thinking with my heart,
Oh,
like
no.
I've been told I do once in a while, I don't see the Lions winning. And now if I think with my head, I don't see them winning this game at all. Corey Mace, like Arthur said Corey Mace.
Maybe you should think with your butt then.
Oh, I don't see him doing it if I think with my butt either. Corey Mace, the players are playing harder for him than our players are playing for Campbell. Agreed. But Corey Mace is a defensive coach. And Dave Dickinson's not really a defensive coach. And I mean, whatever defense Calgary came up with that was able to beleaguer the Lions. I mean, again, you take away those 2 defensive plays, the Lions haven't done anything offensively. Even when we were winning, I wasn't like super convinced that we were that dominant. I call it lucky, but anyway, make my points here. The Saskatchewan defense is very aggressive, and I really don't see the Lions arrogant, stubborn, head up somewhere, play calling changing between this Friday to this next game coming up. I don't see anything that tells me their intensity is going to change. That was my key to last Friday's game, is desperate intensity, and that wasn't there. I mean, maybe the defense got it because Matthew Betts made that play. But again, we also said he was just there kind of accidentally. Great, he made the play, but that's not where he was supposed to be. Were those defensive plays lucky? Can they keep that intensity? Because like Arthur said, when we do well, everybody says, oh, we've turned the corner. Well, look what happened after Montreal-Ottawa. We fell flat on our freaking face against Toronto. After whatever worked, we had nothing. We were flat. And I really don't see us picking it up going into Saskatchewan. I'm calling 31-14. Right?
Ooh. Oh.
I really hope I'm wrong. And if I
14,
am, I will personally go buy Jordan McSimic a beer if he drinks beer.
The Lions are favored by 1, just on the money line. Just want to let you know.
Well, I'm sorry. I 31-14 Riders. And I'm if we make third, I'll be surprised if we even make third.
What do you mean make third? They already clinched the playoff spot.
Third.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't.
You'll be surprised then. Surprise, Greg.
No, but my point being, I just don't think
we don't deserve third. I guess
we don't deserve playoff seeding. Period. Crossover, no cross. This team is just fledgling. You know, they don't look like they're.
Just be happy we're in a 9-team league, Greg.
Yeah,
6 teams out of 9 make the playoffs. That's basically what it is.
I don't think we should be one of those 6. But,
well, I mean, no. I mean, but then those other teams don't deserve to be there. Calgary, Edmonton deserve to be there.
Well, after the start Edmonton had, if they get in the playoffs, to me, they deserve it. And my mom's listening. Yes, Mom, you heard me say it. Edmonton deserves to be there. After.
But how many games did they win since Labor Day?
2, maybe. No, not even
1.
But this team was heavily favored, and I again, just if we squeak into the playoffs, it's just not doesn't sit well. So no, 31-14 Riders. As much as I hate to say that, that's my heart, my head, and my butt saying 31-14
Man,
Riders.
your butt. Oh man, we need another body part.
I don't have many body parts left.
All right.
Okay, Roland, you better sway this.
Well, we know where Roland's gonna go.
Balance it out.
I'm always the optimistic one, and as you can see in my fantasy, I pick BC every single week. Like across the board, BC, right? So, how many times have we played Saskatchewan this year? Just once, right?
Once.
And we beat them quite handily, way back in season week what?
I mean, that's when Shea Patterson was quarterback.
Okay. So 35-20, we beat them in week 6. The teams are very much different then. VA was in the driver's seat back then as well. Receivers were excited. We've got Hollins and McInnes vying for first place in number of yards. So it's changed a lot. But, but it's still the same person. It's still the same receivers. We've got a whole bunch of...
Roland, just to pause you right there. There's a good chance Hollins, Cotoy, and Mackey, and Broxton all play for Saskatchewan in the Saskatchewan game. Just to let you know.
Exactly. That was my next point as well.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you said it was the same receiver, so I said, well, actually, there's going to be 3 new ones.
They are coming back. I mean, the same as from the beginning of the season.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, so can we do it? We've seen. We know that something is blocking Nathan Rourke, whether it's mental or whatever. We know that he's not playing at the same level that he's capable of. Could this be the game where that just falls away and he gets back to form? In order for that to happen, we need a huge upgrade on the O-line. But we are getting Broxton back, like you said. So could this be it? Possibly, right? But being the optimistic guy that I am, I'm going to say, because we know that when they bring the intensity, they can do it. We saw them beat Ottawa and Montreal like 4 or 5 weeks ago. We saw the intensity there, and it didn't last, but we know that they could do it. I understand your point, Arthur, that we've seen their tendency is to do a bad, to go back into mediocrity, but maybe this time they won't, right? So I'm going to say that they're going to win. I'm going to say it's going to be close. So I'm going to say 32-30 for BC. It's going to be close. So it's going to be a nail biter, but I think we're going to pull it off.
In Saskatchewan.
In Saskatchewan. We won in Montreal. So yeah. That's my prediction. All right. So I wrote this down. We'll talk again next week and see who's the closest. All right, it's 9:36. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Oh, we've got a comment from Wayne. Wayne says, if our linebackers continue to back off 15 yards down the field, Harris will pick them apart.
He is correct.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. We do need some better play calling. Like what Arthur said. Our RP is protecting the deep balls, but we're giving them all the short balls, right?
Which they get 8-9 yards on, then it's third and short. They get that, tires our defense out, so the bend don't break. We're on the field a lot longer.
Yeah. But we saw in Montreal that they closed in. The game in Montreal, they were still doing the same thing, giving them the short routes. Yeah. But then while the ball's in the air, they're closing in. By the time they catch the ball, they get hit. And so either they're tackled right there or you could even knock the ball out, right? So we know that they can do it. But it's a matter of heart and a matter of intensity, right? So if they can bring that, then, this could work.
Montreal runs a different offense without Philpott, who's their deep threat. So they were focused on the underneath game, and Lions did their defense just to counter that. So that's why they were very close to the receivers.
Yeah.
And then Saskatchewan, just the problem with is the Saskatchewan receivers are very athletic, and if they break one tackle against this Lions secondary, which is not necessarily hard, they're going. Because there's big gaps. I'm really scared. I'm really scared about that. So we're going to need pressure on Harris.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I wanted to. I forgot to say Harris gets a lot more time back there than Rourke has.
Yeah, for sure.
31-14. Saying it again.
Okay. All right. So thanks, everyone, for joining in. Thanks for all who posted your comments. It was great to be able to chat with you. If you're catching our live stream after the fact, watching the recording, let us know in the comments, too, what your thoughts are for next week's Saskatchewan. Otherwise, have a great week, everyone, and we'll catch you again here next Sunday. The game's on Saturday. Sunday, we're back here again at 8:30. Okay, take care, everyone. Good night.
See ya.
See ya. Go Lions.
Okay.